All right, let's jump right in. What if I told you there's one single principle that really explains the massive gap between huge success and, well, complete failure? According to Grant Cardone, there is. It's called the 10x rule, and honestly, it's a framework for anyone who's tired of getting just average results and is ready to do something truly extraordinary.
You know the feeling, right? We've all been there. You set a goal, you're pumped, you're sure you can nail it, you put in the work, and then, somehow, you still don't quite get there. It is so frustrating, so discouraging, and according to this framework, it happens to almost everyone. So why? Why does this keep happening? Well, the thinking here is that this has nothing to do with bad luck or not having enough talent. Nope, it all comes down to two fundamental mistakes we make right from the very beginning. Let's break them down.
Okay, so it really boils down to two big errors. First, we just aim too low. We set these realistic goals that, if we're being honest, don't really inspire us. They don't have that fire to get us out of bed in the morning. And second, we totally misjudge what it's going to take. We think we know the effort required, but we forget to factor in all the chaos, the unexpected problems, the market shifts, the random setbacks that always show up. The real effort needed is almost always way higher.
This quote, it just perfectly captures the mental trap we all fall into. We're taught to play it safe, right? Aim low so you won't be disappointed. But here's the catch. That safe thinking doesn't actually protect you from failure. It basically guarantees mediocrity. It's the perfect recipe for staying right where you are. So, if aiming too low and underestimating the work is the problem, what's the solution? Well, it's a simple but pretty radical shift in how you think and how you act. And it's called the 10x rule. And here it is, the secret sauce. It's a two-part formula, and you need both. Part 1, you have to set goals that are 10 times bigger than what you think you want. Not just a little bigger, massively bigger. Then, Part 2, you gotta follow that up with 10 times the amount of action you thought it would take to get there.
This quote just nails it. A huge, ambitious goal without the effort to back it up? That's just a daydream. The 10x rule demands that the size of your actions has to match the size of your ambition. You just can't have one without the other.
So to really understand what massive action means, we first need to look at the other levels of effort we can operate from. This framework breaks it all down into 4 different levels. And the key thing to realize here is that only one of these is ever going to get you to a 10x goal.
So here they are. Level 1 is doing nothing. Just making excuses. Level 2 is retreating. That's when you actively run away from challenges to play it safe. Now, Level 3, this is where it gets really dangerous. Normal action. This is where most people live, doing just enough to get by. But the only level that creates those crazy, extraordinary results is Level 4, massive action. And this is exactly why that normal action level is such a trap. Taking average action, it rarely even gets you average results. And why is that? Because there's just not enough momentum to power through the problems that will inevitably come up. Average is a recipe for being forgotten.
I mean, just look at the gap this creates in the real world. Think about this. The average person reads less than 1 book a year, but the average top CEO, they're reading over 60. 60! That is not a small difference in effort. That is a colossal 60 times difference. That is what massive action looks like.
Okay, so taking that kind of massive action, it's obviously not easy. You can't just flip a switch. It needs a very specific kind of mental fuel. You can't just decide to work 10 times harder if you don't first adopt the mindset that makes it even possible. So let's get into the core principles that power this whole engine.
The first principle, and honestly the most important, is you have to take absolute 100% ownership of everything in your life. No more excuses. No blaming the economy or your boss or your circumstances. Good, bad, ugly, you are the cause.
I love this quote because it just completely flips the script. It's a total shift from being a victim of your life to being the creator of your life. And when you truly believe this, you stop waiting for things to get better and you start making them better. You're the one in control.
All right, next up, the 10x mindset is not about competing. It's about dominating. The goal is to stop trying to be just a little bit better than the other guy and start operating on such a different level that you basically create a whole new category for yourself.
Think about it this way. When you compete, you're always reacting to what everyone else is doing. You're playing their game. But when your goal is to dominate, you're the one setting the pace. You create, and you force everybody else to react to you.
Now this next one,
It might sound a little intense. The word obsession usually has this negative vibe, right? But in the 10x world, it's reframed as an absolute requirement for greatness. Your goals should literally consume your thoughts and drive every single one of your actions.
This is such a powerful question to ask yourself. It suggests that the very thing society might label as crazy or unbalanced is actually the secret ingredient to achieve what those same people will later call genius or visionary. It treats obsession not as a problem, but as your greatest superpower.
Okay, so we've talked about the problem, we've talked about the rule, the levels of action, and the mindset behind it all. Now, the only thing left to do is to turn this whole powerful framework back on ourselves. Back to you.
This is the ultimate takeaway. This is the bottom line. Success is not a lottery ticket. It is not something you just wait around for. It is the direct result of your thoughts and, more importantly, your massive, relentless, obsessive actions. You are the one who builds it.
So I'm going to leave you with this one question. Forget what's realistic. Forget what anyone else has done before. Take your biggest, most important goal right now, multiply it by 10, and then ask yourself, what would it take to actually make that a reality?